days I tested positive, I couldn't go anywhere. Then ultimately, I'm done with it.
Well, that's good. I just got my I've lost count on the vaccine. I got my 6th or 7th last week.
I need to get it. I could not take the latest one.
No, and you can't do it for 3 months after you have it because my husband had it.
Yeah, so I'm waiting for it. When I'm going back on 17th of November, and I'll miss tomorrow. Oh, great day.
Again.
Yeah.
It's
Good morning.
9:30.
All right.
9:30.
Well, then we'll shut up.
Okay. So we're going to start the regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Golden Rain Foundation of Laguna Woods, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation, Tuesday, November 7th, 9:30, Laguna Woods. And now I call the meeting to order. That was all done in one breath. I'm sorry. So the next item would be the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Skillman.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. And thanks everybody for being here. So now I acknowledge the media. And the next item is the approval of the agenda. So are there any changes or corrections to the agenda? So if those no changes, are there any objections? If there's no objections, the agenda is approved. Next would be the approval of the minutes of October 3rd, 2023, GRF Board regular open meeting. Are there any changes? Okay, if there are no, are there any objections? If there are no objections, the minutes of October 3rd, 2023 is approved. The next is the approval of the minutes for October 16th, 2023, GRF Meet the Candidates meeting. Are there any changes? No changes, no objections. Then the, October 16th, 2023, Meet the Candidates meeting is approved. The next is the approval of the minutes of October 19th, 2023, GRF Board Agenda Prep meeting. Are there any changes? No objections? Then the October 19th, 2023, GRF Board Agenda Prep meeting is approved. So, I'm going to forego the report of the chair because we have such a big agenda package. And I would like to finish before 5 o'clock. So thank you. So the next would be the CEO report.
You put the pressure on me to be brief, President Carpenter. Thank you. This morning I'd like to share a few updates of hot items in our community, just to make sure that everyone has the information they need. I'm going to start with Orange County Vector Control District. Recently we have received inquiries about how to address mosquitoes. And on last Thursday, Laura Young, the district manager, participated in an interview on this day. And I have the bit.ly link on the screen before you. She covered topics such as why are there more mosquitoes this year? Why are the Aedes mosquitoes so hard to control? Why am I getting bitten more? And what can I do? Ms. Young and the following tips for mosquito control. Eliminate the breeding sources around the home. Can I have the next slide, please? By checking properties for small sources of standing water and dumping it, scrubbing outside containers to help remove mosquito eggs, and helping your neighbors by talking to them about what to do. Prevent mosquito bites by applying mosquito repellent to exposed skin before going outside, and wearing long sleeve shirts and long pants and lighter colored clothing. On the screen before you is how to contact the Orange County Vector Control District. You can visit ocvector.org for more information. And to submit a service request, there's a web form on their website, and it's under Report and Issue web form. We've also received inquiries about coyote activity in the village. The Laguna Beach Police Department's Animal Service Division responds to wildlife situations in the village. To report coyote encounters, you can call 949-497-0701 or email coyotes@lagunabeachcity.net. Again, that's coyotes@lagunabeachcity.net. Recently, Cindy Whitney, host of Discovering Laguna Woods Village, interviewed David Pietrella, the Laguna Beach Animal Services Officer assigned to the village. The bit.ly link for that interview is on the screen before you. And the officer shares information about coyotes, such as insight into coyote behavior, tips for walking with or without a dog, and much more. Specifically, to protect yourself, he recommends leaving a comfortable distance between you and the coyotes. They will display defensive behaviors if threatened or cornered. Increase the distance between you and the coyote if you do encounter one that behaves aggressively. Don't ever feed coyotes or any wild animal, since it's illegal in the state of California and prohibited in the village. And eliminate potential food and water sources, fallen fruit, standing water, and so forth. To protect pets, the officer recommends feeding pets indoors, keeping cats and dogs indoors, supervising them closely when on walks or outside on patios, and so forth. Do not use retractable leashes for walking dogs. Consider investing in a coyote vest designed to buy owners time to get away, interrupt the predator, or pick up a pet. Pick up your animal waste. The scent can attract coyotes. And again, just another reminder, do not feed pets outside. On another topic, the gutter cleaning program is underway. This program is handled by our General Services Department. The program begins each fall and is completed by year end. Vendors and staff place an important notice document at each manor a minimum of 24 hours before the work commences. In Third Mutual, single-story gutters are maintained by the Streets and Sidewalk Work Center. Multi-story gutters are maintained by the outside contractor. And in United Mutual, both single-story and multi-story gutters are maintained by the outside contractor. Work performed in the program includes debris removal by blowing or hand removal. Downspouts are cleared, minor repairs such as replacing gutter spikes, verifying splash guards are in place, removing debris from patio covers. Alteration gutters are serviced to prevent structural damage. All gutters are serviced once per year, and any emergency gutter cleaning identified gets priority. In terms of schedule, work generally progresses numerically, beginning with Building 1, and there are some modifications based on geography and building locations. Work in United is being completed this week, and at that point, work will transition to Third Mutual. The first units to be cleaned in Third Mutual will be within Gate 5, and they will be the 1.5-story buildings. Analysis is underway of the gutter cleaning program to ensure the program is effective and efficient and to maximize the value received from our contractors. Buildings are spot checked via a new inspection web form process. The inspection form is shown on the screen before you, and feedback is provided to the contractor and the work center when corrections are scheduled or needed. Recently, we also presented the Employee Excellence Awards. These awards are given to outstanding employees who demonstrate excellent customer service, achieve great results on projects, and regularly go above and beyond their regular job duties. This morning, I want to highlight our 13 recipients, just so you can share your appreciation with them should you encounter them as you go about your daily business. In financial services, we recognize Mike Robb, our Central Services Supervisor, and Kendra Osborne, our Accounting Supervisor. In General Services, we recognize Dwight Griffith, Broadband Technician, and Pete Iglesias, our Paving Foreman. Lucy Hernandez was recognized in Human Resources, and she serves as an Administrative Coordinator. In Landscaping Services, Vicente Martinez, Section 1 Foreman, and George Porras, our Pest Control Foreman, were recognized. In Maintenance and Construction, Jason Wynn, our Operations Coordinator, and Justin J. Allen, our Damage Restoration Manager, were recognized. In Recreation, Laura I can never get her name right, I apologize. Corbaruvius, our Senior Equestrian Supervisor, was recognized. And in Security, Roger Cowdrey, Security Supervisor 2, Jean Delhomme Chestnut, our Administrative Supervisor in Social Services, and Jacob Wanosto, our Compliance Coordinator, were recognized. And again, if you see them in your travels, please give them a thanks and an appreciation for their service to our community. And lastly, I want to announce the Aliso Creek Trail Rehabilitation Project. A portion of the creek trail will be temporarily closed for paving on Wednesday, November 22nd from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Trail users may access the trail via the parking areas through cul-de-sacs 12 and 60. And for more information, you may contact our project manager, Eric Sneekluth, at 949-597-4625. But again, that work will take place on Wednesday, November 22nd from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And that concludes my update this morning. Thank you very much.
Just a note, on the 3-story buildings regarding the mosquitoes, sometimes there's standing water in the parking areas, and that's a problem I know you're working on, but I was bitten to death the other day just waiting for the AAA truck by my car.
Okay. And you can always please use that web service form, and they will come right out. They're in the village every day.
Well,
so.
It's a problem that occurs after every rain and then some.
Yes, but if you give us the precise locations, Joan, we can address them.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
The next item on
Madam
the
President.
agenda.
Bonnie.
And I'll
Bonnie.
turn on my microphone. Okay, I'm sorry.
A couple of questions. One is on the coyote. Last time the animal, police was here, I'll talk to them about the coyotes. And I asked them if there is a path for the coyotes that they usually travel. And they said there is usually a path that they work, and especially if they have a den somewhere. And one of the den they identified was gate 11 by the creek back there. And another one was, I think, somewhere in gate 1. They said there was a den. Is it possible that, I asked them if they identified those paths for us. They said, yeah, if the requests come through, they might be able to do that. If they identified the path, and then we put signs that these are wild animal path, so people understand that they might be facing people mostly in those areas. That's one of the things I was going to ask. The other one is about the gutters. Every time, we've been spending a lot of money cleaning the gutters. Have anybody, or I'm sure they have, look at the leaf guard for the gutters, because that in the long run, I guess we're going to be saving money and less damage to the buildings.
Yes, and I didn't mention it on my slide, but Third Mutual has budgeted $15,000 for a pilot program to test out various rain gutter guards. So that's going to be happening this year, and from that information, we can decide how best to proceed.
Oh, should we do that for, the GRF property too? Should we look at that? I mean,
Or we can just benefit from that pilot, see what
Yeah.
works the best, and then apply that technology to
Yeah.
GRF.
Yeah, those are the
thank
two
you.
questions I have. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
I don't have a question. I want to answer raise this thing about the signs. Those signs that say coyote warnings, they belong to Laguna Hills. And because I called, because they took one down by my house. So if you want one up, you have to call the Laguna Hills Animal Shelter or Animal Control and request it. And then they'll put that sign up. We don't own those signs.
No, I thought we were serviced by Laguna Beach.
Or
Animal
Laguna
Control.
Beach.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay, excuse me.
Yeah.
I misspoke.
Yeah, but it has to be a request from the village, not the individuals, I think, I
According to
cannot go there,
security,
so I
it's
put
an
signs
individual.
somewhere.
Okay?
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? If there are no further questions, we'll go on to item 8, which is an open forum. So at this time, members only may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and within the jurisdiction of this Board of Directors. The board reserves the right to limit the total amount of time allotted for the open meeting to 30 minutes. A member may speak only once during the forum. Speakers may not give their time to other people, no audio or video recording by attendees, and no rude or threatening comments. Members can attend the meeting by joining Zoom link, and the number is 981-312-57242 or call 1-669-900-6833 or email meeting@vmsinc.org to have your message read during the forum. So do we have any speakers today?
Yes, first speaker is Chris Collins.
Morning, Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here with an update on the work of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village, which is on behalf of residents who are experiencing temporary financial crisis. What's stopping you? Did you hear about the 87-year-old woman recently suffered a stroke and became uncommunicative? What compounded the problem was that her ability to swallow was also affected. A decision needed to be made about how best to feed her. Was artificial nutrition appropriate? Unfortunately, she did not have an advance directive. She'd never discussed her wishes with her children, and she lived alone. Her children did not know what direction to take. Have you discussed your wishes with those close to you if you have a medical emergency? If you answered no, the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village's third televised broadcast on the subject of planning for the inevitable focuses on the reluctance to plan for the future, and it will be aired on Village Television beginning in the first Saturday in November, and it will continue on Saturdays for the whole entire month at 12 noon. If you want to review this broadcast on your own schedule, it's also available on the Foundation website, which is foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org under a special tab called Planning for the Inevitable. This website section includes the YouTube links for this broadcast, and then there have been earlier ones on advanced directive and estate planning. Tune in and hear Dr. Sonia Segal discuss the reluctance of planning for the inevitable. Dr. Segal is a board-certified UCI health internist who specializes in the care of treatment of older adults. As she explains, often people have unrealistic assessment of their own health, they lack knowledge of how to go about this, or lack a trusted individual in their life to designate as a surrogate decision maker. These obstacles to planning can have unfortunate results. For example, causing distress in those having to make decisions without guidance. So if you have any questions about this topic or the upcoming broadcast, please contact the Foundation at 949-268-2246 or the Foundation at comline.com. And for more information about the Foundation, please go to our website, which is the foundationoflagunawoodsvillage.org. And please note that donations can always be made using PayPal on the Foundation website. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there
Next
any other-
speaker is Elizabeth Morris.
Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I live at 581 Unit O, Avenida Mallorca. And I emphasize this because everybody asks me when I talk about what goes on in the park, how do you know so much about it? And literally, I live right over the mitigation area. Every window looks out on it and on the park, and if I go out on the deck, I can see way up past the mud flats on the East Meadow and past the rapids towards Sevilla. So there's nothing that goes on at the bridge area that I don't see everything or hear it. And I call this little speech Extracurricular Activities in the Aliso Creek Park because I am concerned about what I see now. When I first moved there, the only problem we had were skateboards. And I never saw a resident sliding down one of those hills on a skateboard. But I saw lots of grandparents with grandchildren out there, and lots of parents with grandchildren or children coming down those hills. And if you notice where you come down 60 right into the bridge, those are marvelous. It's like catnip to a cat, to a bicyclist. The only bicycles I ever saw when I first moved in there in 2011 were packers that came through Gate 4. And you can tell I'm packing real cyclists because they've got backpacks and packs in the front and packs on the back of their bicycles. And they tear through and they go out Gate, come in 4, go out 3, and they'll turn over to the coast. So they're not a problem. And I did call several times security about issues, and they came and they said, well, they're gone by the time we get here, and we can't find them on the streets of the village. So I gave up calling when I thought things needed to be reported. So I don't report that anymore. But now I'm concerned because with the pandemic, and it did initially when I first came, when I would walk, I walked every morning at between 7 and 7:30. I would meet 3 or 4 people. And now, with the pandemic and the new walking things, new sidewalks and so on, there are dozens and dozens of people every day walking that park. And many of them have dogs. They do use, I notice they're not to use retractable leashes, but they do. And if a bicyclist came down there and got entangled in that, it would be pretty awful. Well, what I wanted to tell you is, last Friday morning, I did my walk, and I always stop at the bridge, and I look west to see how the water's flowing and how the mud is appearing at the bottom of the base of this creek. And then I turned and use my walkers, because that's a long walk I take. And then I walk on the east side, and I watched there. Well, I looked at the west side. I was ready to turn, and I started to turn and walk over to the middle. And a rapid speeding, just like some kind of I don't know what you call it, but it brushed by me so fast. And he yelled at me, and I know he saw me moving. Well, never in my life did I think I'd have to look 2 ways for killer traffic coming at you in the park. And I thought afterwards, I looked to see where we were when that happened. We would both have been killed had we collided, because I was wrapped up in my walker. It would have hit me on the side, not full force, because I was walking across, and he was coming at an angle. Both would have been killed. I would have been thrown probably into the cement wall, the cement header, the steel gates, the handles, the railings there. And he was going at such a speed, I was stunned. It took my breath away, because he just right by me. And I looked, and he was already at the top of the hill on the south. He went with such speed, it was frightening, really frightening. But however, I've been in scary moments before in my life, and I looked up to see where the heck he was. And then I looked around to see what would have happened had he hit me. As I said, I would have been killed with the force.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, well, I'm sorry not to finish this, because again, on Sunday night, I saw another speeder during the open hours of the park, and he was coming behind several elderly men walking, and he raced again by my manor at such speed if he had hit any pedestrian. So I just want GRF to be aware that this is there. The announcements about no bikes in the park is practically non-existent.
So thank you.
So thank you for your attention.
The last speaker is Robert Reyes.
Morning, neighbors. Thank you for the community bazaar, first of all. It was amazing at Clubhouse 5. What a great idea. This is the first time I participated, and it was a lot of fun. It created a sense of community. So thank you for that, and I look forward to it next year. You know, the soul and spirit of an organization trickles down from the top. There is a new kind of kindness that I sense ever since you became directors and we had the honor of having our CEO. I've noticed a change in VMS employees are being kinder and gentler, and they understand where we're at. And I really see a difference. I've been here 10 years, and I'm a third-generation villager. So I really appreciate that. And I thank all of you because you set the example for a community of caring. So thank you so much. I also want to thank you that as a docent, I can literally tell potential future residents what a great community we live in because you've done such a good job. And now that I'm retired and I've had 1 year to attend all your meetings, I've learned a great deal on leadership and what has made this community so successful for 60 years come 2024. So I would like to continue with my volunteering and pick up the torch and do as well of a job as you have in the future when it's my turn to serve in leadership. So I'm excited about the docent program, and because it's such a good program, I would love to see it online so that we can reach more people on social media, right? I had the honor of meeting producer Cindy Whitney and the the editor, her editor and director Preston J. Higgins, PJ. They do an amazing job with the program discovering Laguna Woods Village. And I think they would do an amazing job of taking the docent script and creating different videos for the different sections of our community so that future residents can just click on that video 24/7 and we would be able to reach a lot more people that way. And not only that, but we would be saving on that budget. And I know the docent program is amazing. I love being a docent, but I also love the fact that you're so responsible with the budgeting. And kudos to our CEO. I've seen the directors of all mutuals saying, cut back, cut back, cut back, and she always does. We can't do the job that we're doing right now on a skeleton crew, but we're doing a good job. So let's make sure we continue that. And thank you so much for letting me volunteer. Now, I know that if I bring issues, I have to bring solutions, and I'm here to volunteer to help out in any way I can.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Any further speakers? No? Does anyone want to comment? Okay.
Yeah, I want to, as usual, thank Chris for a great job that you guys doing. Everyone in the village really appreciate everything that you guys doing at the foundation. Keep it up. And but the speeding, yeah, there are, issues with the speeding, but I leave that to the, security to find out how the best to approach that. And but Robert, it's really appreciated some good words for for the VMS. That's we always hear about the bad thing and problems, and sometimes a positive input will lift the spirit and helps people to do a better job. Appreciate for your kind words for the VMS. Thank you.
Joe.
I just want to thank Chris again for the vital information for all of us. I think we need to pay particular attention to that. And Elizabeth, if you don't have it, we need your statement. You wrote out something for this.
I just had points to cover.
Okay.
But I can write it up for you because actually there's...
Well, that's
more.
okay. I think that what we need, if we haven't got it, is no skateboarding allowed in the village, and as well as bicycles. It's a safety factor for all of us.
Absolutely.
We can't talk back and forth, okay? I'm sorry, but I got you. Thank you. That's all.
Juanita?
I pressed my request to speak button. Elizabeth, it's always good to hear from you, and I appreciate all of the oversight that you do at our creek area. This is an important issue that we are undertaking in our Security Community Access Committee. Bikes, especially the proliferation we have now of e-bikes that just zoom through, not just on sidewalks, not just on our trails, but even on our streets. We've had quite a few near misses with people who can't quite get that. So it is something we're looking at, and I encourage you to come to our next security meeting and give us your testimony again.
Thank you. I will.
Jim?
Well, actually, Juanita stole my thunder. But
Mine too.
But one last thing. Again, I just want to comment on Chris and the foundation and urge everyone to contribute to the foundation to the extent that they can, because it does wonderful work. It really does. And I appreciate your report to us every month also.
Anyone else? Okay, the only comment I have for Robert is the fact that Media and Communications is already looking at videos that would, that, not our committee, but I think it is part of the committee, right? They're looking at videos in regards to putting it on the new website, which is right now being reviewed, so that people can go to the website and actually see everything. In fact, the video, from what I understand, is better than the docent tour, because you could see more. So I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Right, yes, the video's already been made and will be on the new website. So there'll be a video docent tour available to everybody. And then we'll see about the physical tours. But this may take the place of the physical tours later, not yet.
Yeah. So thank you. So if there's no other responses, I'm going to go ahead with the consent calendar. So all matters listed under the consent calendar are recommended for action by committees and will be enacted by the board by one motion. In the event an item is removed from the consent calendar by members of the board, such items shall be the subject of further discussion and action by the board. So the recommendation from the Finance Committee is consistent with its statutory obligation. The subcommittee of the board consisting of the treasurer and at least one other board member reviewed and approved preliminary Golden Rain Foundation financials for the month of September 2023. By this vote, ratify that such review be confirmed in this month's board member open session meeting minutes. So, yeah.
I move that we approve the consent calendar. There's a second.
Please push the buttons.
All right. Any objections? So the consent calendar is approved. The next item is the unfinished business. So, A, entertain a motion to remove the drop-in lounge television October initial notification of 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied. So, Joan, will you read the resolution, please?
Right. Resolution 90-23-XX, drop-in lounge television. Whereas the drop-in lounge located at Clubhouse 1 is open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and is a gathering area for residents to have a cup of coffee, socialize, work on a jigsaw puzzle, read a magazine, conduct work, and or relax. And whereas altercations and arguments occurred among residents who had conflicting viewing preferences and interests, resulting in security being called to the lounge on several occasions, which hindered the enjoyment and necessitated the removal of the television for safety purposes on Monday, December 17th, 2018. And whereas on March 14th, 2019, the Community Activities Committee passed a motion to reinstall the drop-in lounge television with restricted programming and closed captioning to Village Television, TV6. And whereas, since the reinstallation of the television, board members and staff continue to receive complaints regarding access to preferred programming and restriction of use of the remote control of volume and channels. And whereas staff proposed 3 options for the drop-in lounge television. 1, affixed on the Turner, it should stay affixed on the Turner Classic Movies channel with closed captioning. 2, could be a marquee displaying upcoming events, classes, and message boards, no volume. Or 3, removal of the television. And whereas on September 14th, 2023, the Community Activities Committee reviewed these choices and recommended the removal of the drop-in lounge television. Now therefore be it resolved November 7th, 2023, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts removal of the Clubhouse 1 drop-in lounge television, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we approve this resolution.
No push button.
Second?
Oh.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Okay.
Is there any objection?
We have member comments as well.
Pardon?
You have some member comments.
All right.
Okay.
Manor 31C, Tony Mendel. I am in favor of removing the televisions from the drop-in lounge. People of different backgrounds and tastes come in to gather and socialize. I have seen numerous arguments due to people arguing over what they want to watch. Second one, Manor 551B. Dear GRF board members, I am Stephen Wontrobsky, a resident living at 551 Estrada Unit B. I previously addressed this subject issue in my August 28 email to you. In the last board meeting, the Community Activities Committee recommended removal of the TV from the Clubhouse 1 drop-in lounge. The board withheld approval of these recommendations for 28 days pending receipt of the additional resident input on this matter. I hereby submit additional input for the board to consider in order to justify rejections of the CAC recommendation to remove the TV. One of the board's primary responsibilities is to look after the social and physical well-being of its residents. And the stated purpose of the CAC is to help ensure that residents remain fit, engaged, and entertained. In that regard, I encourage board and CAC actions that contribute to the social well-being of our residents, such as offering activity opportunities to interact with other residents in a social atmosphere. Medical studies have shown this is one of the foremost positive aspects for a healthy living environment in a senior community. The Clubhouse 1 TV viewing is such an activity offering. Residents can arrange their schedule to get together, sip coffee, and chat while viewing the TV. It gives them a reason and meaning for social interaction, which has positive psychological benefits and reduces the feeling of loneliness that is present with many in our community. The Globe reported about problems related to access to programming. This is the crux of this entire issue that has occurred over the past. This issue relates to the political arguments that have developed in the past regarding political channel selections and viewer commentary. Rather than throw out the TV viewing for all, why not restrict through the TV parental control function the elimination of the following channels causing the problems: the Fox, CNN, C-SPAN, and MSNBC. That would solve the problem. The Globe then reported that there were issues related to restrictions on access for control of volume. I never knew this was a problem since the TV is fixed on mute. Simply continue to restrict access to the remote control as has been in the case for years. And keep the sound on mute with closed captioning so that as not to create loud atmosphere in the lounge. This is the way it has been for the past years without a problem. Keep the remote control in the Clubhouse 1 office just it has been for years without any problem. If a resident desires on the first-come, first-served basis to watch a show for an hour, let them request a channel change by going into the Clubhouse 1 office. I have been doing this for years without any complaints to allow the viewing of the Sunday after NFL football games. Finally, I would like to recommend that the CAC instruct both the Recreation Department Director and Recreation Department Manager to individually develop a list of recommendations that would encourage more TV viewing in the Clubhouse 1 lounge. Some proposal recommendations might include: 1. Allow TV viewing on the first-come, first-served closed caption basis for 1 hour or similar accommodation protocol. Second, put the Monday movies on closed captioning viewing. I've noticed that the women residents like to watch these movies together in the lounge. Third, during the weekday morning and afternoon, put the TV on channel 2 that will show Let's Make a Deal, Price is Right, The Young and the Restless, etc. Fourth, solicit input from the actual Clubhouse lounge visitors, what non-political shows they would like to watch on the TV. Fifth, do not have the TV on the village TV. In my opinion, from my observation being the Clubhouse 1 lounge on almost a daily basis, there is minimal Clubhouse 1 viewer interested in watching this channel. The board, CAC, and the Recreation Department need to do more work on this subject for the social and psychological well-being of all of our residents. They all need to fulfill their responsibilities owed to our residents in this regard. That is why the board members were elected and why the Recreation Department directors and managers are being paid. Let's simply have everyone do their jobs. Anyone on the so-called managerial role could have eliminated this problem by simply stating, get rid of the TV. I believe the board is above that, and they need to show that the social and psychological well-being of a resident is paramount in their minds. And in this case, it can be easily addressed with a simple fix rather than just getting rid of the TV. I request that the board reject the CAC recommendation to have the Clubhouse 1 TV removed and instead direct the CAC, Recreation Director, and Recreation Department Manager to come up with a list of recommendations that will encourage and expand resident social TV viewing in the Clubhouse 1 lounge. That's it.
Okay, Bob.
Director Dotson had her hand up.
Okay.
No, I'm ready. While I don't agree with everything in that letter, I do agree that removing the TV is not the right way to go with this. The ability to have a TV in that lounge, that's what drop-in lounges are. I agree about the ladies getting together for the movies. There are ways to restrict that television to specific channels, National Geographic Channel, different things like that. But that's, to me, that's like punishing a child by taking away their toy. So I will be voting no. I think taking the TV out is absolutely the wrong way to go.
Okay, Yvonne?
The TV has been an issue for years. It's been pulled in and out because of the same reason, the arguments with people, and having to call security. We've tried several different avenues, restricting it on Channel 6 and other channels, and it just doesn't seem to work. So I support taking it out because we've taken it out before. So, and we'll probably be putting it back in again in another 6 months. But this is, I don't know why this issue keeps coming up. And it's the same people that are arguing about the TV. And so it needs to be pulled out. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Egon?
I recommend against taking out a amenity just because one or two or several people, for that matter, misuse it. It's just not. It just doesn't make any sense. If we were to do that, we'd be ending up closing down half of the things around here. We have endlessly talked about rules of conduct and have installed such rules. I say apply them. If you have a troublemaker, call them aside and give them a fine, or at least notice them that they're due for a fine if they keep this up. Run it as a first come first serve basis, So, and keep it in there. And if we've taken it out and we put it back in, take out, put it back in, what the heck does that say? That doesn't make any sense either. So I would vote no on that. Thank you.
Elsie?
Actually, in the bad old days when it was boiling to I hate it too. I fought for a long time to keep that television. I don't like to have people feel like we're treating them as children, on the one hand. On the other hand, security was out there a lot prior to, that would have been probably prior to the pandemic, and it was really bad. And then, one side would fight against the other side, and it put the security officers in a bad position. And in one case, well, I'll leave personalities out of it, but there were some rather prominent people involved in some of those set twos, and the people that I talk to when I go to the anymore, now that it's been just on mute and I approached things, but I questioned recreation and the staff there. And it turns out that a lot of their time is taken up because people will go over to the office. I think the one person mentioned it. And I just don't know. I just think no. Oh, that was the final thing I was going to say. I'm sorry. I tend to drift. The people that I talk to over there don't care one way or the other. They sit there and read their newspapers because there's a nice little social area there. and they can sit and read their newspapers, read their magazines, chit-chat, and there's just this silent observer, which is the television screen. So it seems I'm supporting this regretfully, but I think it's just a waste of time having it there. And like Yvonne said, even no matter what we try, there's fights. So, and I don't think that's anyway, I support this.
Okay, now I have two more here, and then there's Gan and Martin, and then Joan.
And then Jim.
Do I go
And
first?
Jim, okay. So Gan, you're first.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. I think having a television in a senior community in the drop-in lounge is the most appropriate amenity that we can provide to the senior residents. I agree that there should be some rules how to operate and in which sequence we can people can use it. Other than that, if you can also limit the number of channels. But having an independent opinion, whether it is political or otherwise or social, that is a personal choice. I don't think we can have any limits on that, but there should not be any controversy in the drop-in lounge. It is a socialization area. I think we are all responsible citizens. We should be behaving ourselves, not to go against each other, perhaps to help each other. I suggest that I will vote no, not to. I would not remove the television from the drop-in lounge. The very question comes to my mind: why do I have the lounge to meet if we don't have some kind of a communication system in place? Thank you.
Martin, I think you're next.
Yes.
Hi, can you hear me?
Sure.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I'm not in favor of removing it. And anything, if maybe we use a little technology and go with a split screen with a closed caption, then or even a quad screen, something like that would satisfy, all those that are, in attendance of the lounge. But just the removal of it, that's, we can use technology, is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Joan, and then Jim, and then Reza. Okay.
It's been such a controversy for years, and I'm not in favor of removing the TV, but I do think we would need a very strict schedule that we would control rather than. The problem is if you leave the freedom, which most people have, is to watch TV as they wish, then the conflicts arise because not everybody wants to watch the same thing at once.
Right.
But if they know ahead of time that, say, between the hours of 2 and 4, there will be the standard movie shown. And between the hours of such and such in the morning, we'll have game shows and other types of entertaining things, including History Channel and the National Geographic. The point is that if there's a way for us to control what's on there and give a variety, fine, without having staff to stand over the residents and make sure they behave like adults. But perhaps there is no adult way, so I'm conflicted, but I don't feel that we've made all the effort we can to give this programmatic approach.
Jim, and then Reza.
Yeah, I too am conflicted, but at the same time, there need to be consequences for behavior. So we're talking about behavior here, and from my perspective. The TV does not cause the behavior. The programming does not cause the behavior. It may precipitate the behavior, but it doesn't cause it. So where there is behavior beyond what is reasonable, there should be consequences. I would not want to punish everybody who wants to come in there and watch that TV. I live pretty close to Clubhouse 1. On occasion, I drop in and I go into that little room and I see people watching the TV, mostly not watching, they're doing other things, but it's there. It's noise. It's a way to communicate. It's comforting. I don't think removing that TV is the actual solution. There has to be some rules as to the rules of the control of the TV, the watching of the TV, etc. And people need to control themselves. So I would not be for just taking the TV out. That punishes everybody. I remember as the youngest of 3 kids that when I did something bad, my sisters used to really hate me because they're the ones that got punished.
Reza.
Thank you. I can see both sides of the issue. And one of the problem is that what I'm hearing, we cannot get along in the launch. That's the problem. And we don't have a procedure. We don't have anything in place that says how this TV is going to be operated. I want to amend the motion to say that the TV is going to be shut down, not removed, until we develop a procedure that is acceptable, and then TV is going to be turned on. We are not going to remove the TV, but we need a procedure for use. Other than that, we're going to have problem because people cannot get along. There is no procedure, there is no requirement, and everyone wants the remote. That's my suggestion. Thank
All
you.
right, did you move that?
So
that a motion?
repeat your motion.
The motion, I want to amend the motion saying that we are not going to remove the TV, but it's going to be shut down until we develop a procedure for usage in the lounge. When we have that procedure, the TV will be turned back on. When
I
it's
second that.
accepted.
Who seconded it?
Elsie.
Elsie, okay.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the amended motion?
You have to vote on that.
Right.
Who seconded?
Okay, so.
Elsie did,
Yes. So now we're going to vote on the amended motion,
on the amendment.
on the amendment. So if you'll notice on your screen, we're going to be using the screen.
Martin, can I have your vote, please?
Pardon?
The people on Zoom, I'm going to ask for their votes.
What?
I'm going to ask for the people on Zoom their votes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Martin,
Do you
can I
want
have
it
your-
in
We can
chat?
vote on the
Do
screen.
you want it in verbal or chat?
Whatever's easier for you guys.
Okay.
So this doesn't have, is that what you were going to ask too, huh?
This is the amendment we're voting on.
So, but it doesn't state the amendment on Granicus, but you know what it is, so we can vote for it?
Gan, what's your
It
vote?
says motion amend.
Okay, I'll vote yes then.
Is that
It's the
what?
amendment
Okay.
that we're voting on.
Gan,
It
can I have your
doesn't
vote,
state
please?
the amendment, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It says motion amend, yeah.
So why, I press the button and it's not working for me? I-
Oh, well, I pushed it, and
Press yes. You're on there.
I clicked on it for you already.
Yeah, I pressed yes.
You're up there.
Nope,
You're up there. You're on the screen. You're
I'm
there.
on the screen?
On the right-hand column.
Okay, I couldn't read
Gan,
it.
can I have your vote, please?
Put on my glasses. Okay,
Now we have to vote on the amendment.
Give me a sec. We're waiting for
Okay.
Gan. I'm sorry, we're waiting for Gan.
the TV's going to be off until we come up with a procedure.
He's not voting.
yes, okay. All right, so now we need to vote on the motion, the first motion.
Which, the amended motion.
We already voted on the amended motion.
I thought that was the amendment motion.
Okay, we have to vote on the entire motion with the amendment in it. I'm sorry.
I move the motion, I move the
It's already been-
the new amended motion.
And I second it.
You want it,
What is the amended motion? Can you please
that we
clarify?
remove the,
That we do not remove the television, but we shut it off until
shut
a
it off.
proper procedure for viewing is established.
I move that.
Okay, I agree.
So we're, at this point in time, is there any further discussion? Okay, Juanita?
Do we need a second?
I seconded it.
I may be extremely old-fashioned, But to me, social interaction means people talking and interacting with each other, not sitting and watching a boob tube. If they want to sit and watch the boob tube, they can do so at home. I think that the television there cuts off the social interaction that we have with each other. Doing the puzzles, discussing events in the village, all of these kinds of things are the kinds that we want in the drop-in lounge, not people who just come in and sit and watch a television. So that's why I am opposed to having the television in the drop-in lounge.
Okay, Elsie?
And to follow on what Director Skillman said, you can always go home and watch TV. I mean, who doesn't have a television? You know, because even though I supported this last amended motion, I'm hoping that one of the considerations, and it will be to remove it. But I do support if we can find something more amenable to everybody, then I think that's a good way to go. But I just want to. It's really, what is TV? How does that improve communication?
But that's the whole purpose of the motion, in order to take the time off, keep the TV off, figure it out. If we cannot find the procedure and we cannot support anything, the TV is off. If we find a happy medium for people to be able to use it, then we'll do it. Other than that, TV is off until we have a procedure that we don't have to call, security every 10 minutes there.
Right.
Okay, let's vote on the motion. What?
I have something to say.
All right.
Okay. Regarding socialization with television, I just want to say that people watching a football game together or watching a movie together, they like to do as a group, and that would be the socialization part. But I agree, if television's there, it's just as a distraction, it stops conversation and so on. But it's possible to have agreed upon times and events that people might like to do. Okay, that's just my input. So I'm still voting for this.
So can you restate the motion, please?
Yes. The amended drop-in lounge is now, therefore, the Board of Directors hereby would not remove the television, but turn it off until the proper procedure for viewing is established.
Do we need another 28-day for this now with the amendment?
So,
No? Okay. Did you ask to have it repeated?
It has to go on 28 days again.
That's what I thought. It would have to do another 28 days. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we do. Okay, so I move I know.
Okay, so we're here to vote on the full motion with the amendment.
Right, and it will be on a 28-day hold.
Yes. Okay, so are we ready to vote?
The TV will be off.
Yes, okay. All right, so we're ready to vote.
I just had one more comment. It says I thought we had already voted for this and voted to remove the television. And it says but it doesn't say it's first reading. It says that it has been satisfied.
No.
We made an amendment that changed the motion.
No, I know that, but I mean.
Therefore, it has to go back on a 28-day hold.
Okay, yes, but in here, okay, now maybe I'm reading this wrong. It says, unfinished business, entertain a motion to remove the drop-in lounge television, 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Civil Code 4360 has been satisfied.
Correct, but we're changing direction, so we're changing direction.
October, the initial reading was.
Let Siobhan speak.
We're changing direction, Elsie, so it will have to go back on 28 days.
Oh, no, I got that
Okay.
part, but the point is, this same board voted to remove the television.
No, you introduced the resolution for 28-day hold. You didn't take any definitive action. You just introduced the resolution for 28-day hold.
Yeah, but if we had killed it the first time, it would not have been put on
Correct.
28-day hold.
Yes.
So we supported it to go on 28-day hold, and now everybody's against it. Okay, got it. Not a problem.
Okay, are we voting? See, I pressed it, but it did not work. I will try again.
There you're on. You're on.
There we go.
For Martin, Debbie, and Gian, can I have your votes, please?
Working on it.
Yes to the amended amendment.
Okay.
We got it.
And Gian? Gian, can you hear us? Okay.
I vote to keep the television as it is with 28 days hold on it. When we decide what to do about it, what are the games of the rule of the game. Thank you.
Wish we could do that.
Okay,
Fine.
everybody, the motion passes.
Okay. Onward.
Okay. The next item is the update on committee appointments, and Joan, we do have an adjustment to the committee.
Which one?
It's,
Maintenance and construction. Okay. You got it. You got it. You got this.
This is for third.
Okay, I'll do my best. Okay, I will do my best.
We have to.
All right, resolution 90-23-XX. GRF committee appointments.
We have too many appointments. Want me to bring it up?
where are you talking about?
What are you talking?
Do we need to take a recess?
Okay, this is
Okay,
community activities. We have Yvonne. Oh, she's the alternate, that's all right, but this one here. We have third, never mind.
it's fine. It's
Are we all
fine.
right?
Yes.
Okay. GRF committee appointments. Resolved November 7th, 2023, that the following persons are hereby appointed and ratified to serve on the committees of this corporation. Please stop me if I make a mistake at this point. Okay, well, I'll try to read the changes. Community Activities Committee. Elsie Addington is removed. Joan Milliman becomes just the regular GRF representative. Juanita Skillman is the alternate for GRF. Kush Bahada is the alternate for third. Jules Zalen is removed. Andy Gnosio is third mutual. Pearl Lee is removed. Maggie Blackwell is on for United. Sue Quam is on for United. Peter Sanborn is now on for Mutual 50 full-time. Sue Stevens becomes the alternate for Mutual 50. Finance Committee, the changes. Donna Rain Sozak has been removed. Brad Reinhardt is on for third. Azar Asghari is removed with United. Mickey Choi Ho is on from United. Margaret Bennett is removed from Mutual 50, and Sue Stevens becomes a regular from Mutual 50. The advisor, Rosemarie De Lorenzo, is removed. Information Technology Committee. Deborah Dotson is removed. Tom Tuning is from United is put on. Debbie Dodson is placed as an advisor. The Landscape Committee. Tony Liberatore is put on from United. Jules Zalen is removed from third. SK Park from third is put on. Sue Stevens is the alternate for Mutual 50. And Donna Rain Sosak is put on as an advisor. Be sure. Okay. Maintenance and construction. Okay. James Cook has been removed from third, and S.K. Park is put on from third. Brad Reinhardt is put on from third as the alternate from third. Andy Ginocchio has been removed as third alternate. Lenny Ross is removed from United. Cash Ashrakar is removed from United. Allison Bach is put on from United, and Pearl Lee is put on from United.
So there was a note right there. I thought that was on maintenance and construction.
Okay. Also,
Mickey Ho is alternate.
yeah, and Mickey Choi.
Mickey Cho.
Mickey Choi Ho is on as the alternate from United.
Right.
Okay, Joan?
I'm here.
Here, I'm here.
Okay, talk
This
to
side.
me. Sorry.
Okay.
Hello.
The James Cook was removed. SK is alternate or is the member?
It just says S.K. Park, is he on from third? He's on full-time from third.
Okay, so there are three. The third has three. SK, Brad, and
S.K.
Ralph.
Ralph.
All three of them.
S.K. Ralph and Brad, one of them should be the alternate.
That's what I'm asking. Which one is the alternate?
Who's the alternate?
Alternate's Brad.
Oh,
It
Brad.
says James
Brad
Cook
Reinhardt
is the alternate here.
Reinhardt is the alternate.
Brad is alternate. Okay.
Right.
I just want to make sure I know who.
Okay, so that was changed.
Okay.
All right,
No,
everyone?
James Cook is removed.
Okay.
Landscape Committee. Tony Liberatore is on from United. Jules Zalen is removed, from third is removed. S.K. Park is added from third. And Sue Stevens is the alternate from Mutual 50, added. And Donna Rain Sosak is the advisor, is added as an advisor. What am I doing? I'm sorry. Lost my place. Okay, Clubhouse Renovation Ad Hoc Committee. Apologize, everybody. Deborah Dodson is removed from as GRF. Under Media and Communications, Juanita Skillman is now full-time. Elsie Addington is removed as GRF. Sue Quam from United is removed. Georgiana Willis from United is added. Margaret Bennett from Mutual 50 is removed. Peter Sanborn from Mutual 50 is added as a full-time. Sue Stevens from Mutual 50 is added. The Website Ad Hoc Committee, Azar Asghari is removed as United from United. Mickey Choi Ho is added from United. Donna Rain Sostak is removed from third. Broadband Ad Hoc Committee, Debbie Dawson is removed from GRF. Bunny Carpenter is added from GRF. Maggie Blackwell is removed from United. Sue Quam is added from United. Tom Tuning is added from United. Margaret Bennett from Mutual 50 is removed. Peter Sanborn is removed as the alternate, but is now full-time. Sue Stevens is added from Mutual 50. And the advisor, Debbie Dodson, is added as an advisor. Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Elsie Addington is removed from GRF. Juanita Skillman becomes chair from GRF. Azar Asghari is removed from United. Nancy Carlson is added from United. Sue Stevens becomes full-time, no longer alternate. Peter Sanborn is the alternate for Mutual 50. Security and Community
Madam
Access-
Chair?
Yes.
I would like to add Elsie Addington as an advisor on M&V.
On which one?
M&V?
mobility vehicles that we just did. Do you agree, Elsie?
You betcha.
All right.
Okay, put Elsie Addington as advisor for Mobility and Vehicles Committee. Security and Community Access Committee, Donna Rain Sostak from third has been removed. Lydia Kale has been from United is removed. Nancy Carlson from United is on. Disaster Preparedness Task Force, Donna Rain Sostak has been removed from third. Georgiana Willis from United has been added. Rick Cops has been added as alternate for Mutual 50. Sue Stevens has been dropped as alternate full-time on Mutual 50. Laguna Woods Traffic Hearings. Elsie Addington has been removed. Juanita Skillman is no longer an alternate. She's full-time. Cash Ashrakar has been removed. Anthony Liberatore from United has been added. Vidya Kale has been added as an alternate from United. Margaret Bennett has been removed from Mutual 50. Sue Stevens has been added as a full-time. Glenn Miller from Mutual 50 is also added. Purchasing Ad Hoc Committee, Donna Rain Sostak has been removed, third. Allison Bach from United has been added. And Lenny Ross from United has been removed. The Select Audit Task Force is the same. Compliance Ad
Joe,
Hoc
may
Committee.
I interrupt?
Sorry.
One correction.
Yes.
Diane Phelps represents GRF, not BMS, on the Select Audit Task Force.
Oh, that's right.
Thank you. I apologize for interrupting.
Thank you. She represents, I'm sorry, GRF? Okay.
Yes.
And the Select Audit Task Force, you guys got it? Okay. And then the Compliance Ad Hoc Committee, and the entire committee has been deleted. It's fulfilled its task. Okay. Executive Hearings Committee, Elsie Addington has been removed, and Joan Milliman is now full-time. Finance Advisory Group, Andy Ginocchio has been added from third. Donna Rain Sostak has been removed from third. Space Planning Ad Hoc Committee, Lenny Ross from United has been removed. Azar Asghari from United has been removed. Tom Tuning from United has been added. Nancy Carlson has been added from United. Those are all of the changes. Anything else? Okay, I move that we accept the new committees.
If you can't, please push the button on the screen to make the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second?
Don't we have to state the motion? I did state it. Okay. Do we have a second?
I pushed the button.
Push the button.
I seconded it.
Push the button.
I did push the button twice.
Okay. Push it twice. It's a second.
Just, SK, just a minute.
Before you vote.
Yeah.
They're ready
There
to
we go.
second, and then we're going to go to discussion. Just a second.
Stay where you are. Don't go away.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All right, SK?
Thank you. If you look at the Traffic Hearing Committee, Sue Stevenson, Mutual 50, and Glenn Miller, Mutual 50, both regular member. Somebody has to be alternate or not? That's my question.
I'm lost.
Oh, no, you don't have to have an alternate, but if there's a change, it has to be submitted by your president.
Well, all other GRF, third, United, either one member
Well,
or one alternate.
If the third wishes to have an alternate on the disaster preparedness task force, he
No,
would.
I'm not talking about disaster. I'm talking about traffic hearing.
Traffic hearing.
I'm talking about traffic hearing committee.
Traffic hearing.
Your
Okay.
president has to tell us.
What?
Your president.
We'll have to check with Sue.
Yeah, these are submitted by the board presidents, and so in this case right here, this was submitted by Sue Stevens. So if she wants to make the changes, she'll let us know, then we'll make the changes on the committee assignments. This is not up to the chair of the committee.
Yes, but when we decide traffic hearing, we have to have, I believe, equal number of all board members.
Mr.
But
Director,
50 has 2 voting members.
Director Park, we will
yes.
clarify that with Mutual 50 and make the change.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments? Are we ready to vote?
Press your magic twingers.
Okay.
Martin and Gan, can you give me the thumbs up if you're yes and thumbs down if no?
Okay, does it just take a long time to put my name on, or do I have to press it twice?
Gan, can I have your vote, please? Thank you.
I don't know why yours isn't working.
Yeah, it just,
You're
no,
on
wait,
there,
see,
Bonnie.
now it came up, it's just delayed, that's what I
Oh,
was,
okay, because mine came right up. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't like it.
no, but that's
Okay, the motion
okay
passes.
for today. Okay. All right, so the motion passes, thank you. All right, so the next item, very interesting discussion, are you ready? Reza? So the next item, 11C, is discussion of Clubhouse 1 update. And this is an oral discussion. We will not be voting on it. We will be voting on it in closed session.
Thank you, Madam President. On October 24th, the MNC had a closed meeting in which CAG and Finance were invited, but not very many people showed up on those 2 committees. But we discussed the bids that came back. We sent out the RFP, which was approved by the committees, and we received 3 bids. Staff reviewed the bid. They clarified the information on the bid. They went back and talked to the last 2 bidders, not the higher one, because it didn't make any sense to talk to the third bidder, and make sure that the information was provided was correct, and everyone understand what was on the RFP, and they bidded correctly based on the RFP. The other issue was, are they using the same type of material for the, that they're proposing, or equivalent of the, accepting all the codes? And the answer was yes. So after that, the committee looked at that and approved for the sending it to the full board of the GRF. But right now, I asked the staff for the open session just to discuss the statement of work and the scope that this project going to have. That's for the information for everyone that listen, everyone that is here, all the members, to understand what the scope of the work is and what are the things that we are trying to do in Clubhouse 1. We are not going to be discussing numbers. We are not discussing money. We're just discussing the scope. For that, I asked Mr. West to take the microphone and tell us what this scope is. Thank you.
Good morning, Madam President and board members. Thank you for this opportunity to present to you a summary of the planned work for Clubhouse 1. We have a slide presentation that I will go through with you. It's going to be brief. It is summarized. We're not going into detail because we'd spend a lot of time. Here's the detail here in my hand. So, but it will outline what's being planned and what's going to be delivered. So right now we have a map just showing the vicinity where Clubhouse 1 is located. That's where the star that you see on your screen. That is Clubhouse 1. That is the flagship clubhouse. That was the original clubhouse built in the community. It has a Spanish mission style. Next slide, please, if you wouldn't mind. Here's an overhead and aerial view of the clubhouse. You can see that it's a campus with different buildings, different areas for parking. It does have a large pool that's covered. Very nice facility. If you would please go to the next slide. Here's another overview. It's a site plan of the areas that will be affected by the work that's planned. We have what we're calling Building F. We've identified these early on when we were doing the preliminary work for the windows and doors. So this was mapped out. Building F, you can see on your screen here, it's to the left. It's the drop-in lounge, conference room 1, conference room 2, and the art room. It also has restrooms that are attached to that building as well. Those will all be a part of the planned work. Building G, that's going to be the main ballroom, also known as the main lounge. I'm sure you're familiar with that. A lot of activities happen there. Building A, it's the multi-purpose restrooms that will be affected. Also, the multi-purpose room and the game room. I'll show slides where that breaks down a little further. Building B, we have the pool, locker rooms, and the billiards room. For Building C, it's going to be the fitness center. It's combined 2 buildings, fitness center and gym. The gym will not be a part of this scope. If you wouldn't mind going to the next slide. So here, breaking it down a little further on Building F, just highlighting the areas again that will be affected by this planned work. You'll see areas that are not hatched. Those are storage areas and this outside patio area that will not be a part of the scope. If you would mind to the next slide. Again, this is what we're calling Building G, the ballroom. Just the center portion will be worked on. The offices to the left and the kitchen to the right are not a part of this scope. If you wouldn't mind the next slide, please. So here we have Building A. This is the multi-purpose room and the restrooms and a game room. All the areas in white are basically storage, except for the lower left. We have an area that the radio club uses. That will not be a part of this scope of work. Also, there's an area where the bus drivers take break. That's on the lower left portion of the screen. That too will not be a part of this scope of work. The rest are basically storage areas. Next slide, please. So Building B, we have the pool locker rooms and billiard room. So for this Building B, those are the areas that will be focused on. The electrical and pool equipment room is not a part of this, nor are the storage areas. The pool and spa is not a part of this scope as well. Next slide, please. So we have Building C here, which is the fitness center. It's the complete fitness center where the offices are and all the exercise equipment. Again, the gym is not a part of the scope. Next slide, please. So as mentioned previously by Director Reza, the RFP, the provisions, this is all part of the package that was sent out to advertise to contractors for their bids. And this is the complete package. There was a lot to it. I just wanted to go over. It's the RFP provisions, the interior design plans, interior improvement specifications, window and door dimensions, window and door map. We have included an asbestos report, plumbing fixture specifications, appliance specifications, PPG paint specs, AMB, and also the building room location map, so they're familiar with the site. Next slide, please. So just to summarize the scope, it's really an update to the different spaces within that campus. And what's happening in those spaces is painting. So we're replacing the paint, the flooring, the acoustics, window treatments. We're replacing the existing lighting with LED lighting that will be compliant with Title 24. We will remove the surface-mounted electrical. If you've been to the facility, you'll notice that the electrical is run on the outside of the walls, not like in this building where they're on the inside, unseen until you get to a receptacle. So that will be corrected. That was an old-style way of doing construction, and we're going to modernize that. There are kitchenettes. Again, we're not addressing the main kitchen at the lounge or at the ballroom, but the other kitchenettes that are throughout the facility. We will be replacing the cabinets, appliances, countertops, backsplash, sinks, and other plumbing fixtures. The restrooms, in the locker room adjacent to the pool, will replace the tile, countertops, sinks, toilets, partitions, mirrors, and lighting. And again, this is summarized. For the ballroom, the fireplace facade will be changed, as well as the other items, the paint and the flooring and whatnot. The chandeliers will also be replaced. All of the decision-making was done early on by the committees. Everything was brought forth to the committee for their selection. There were some color selections that were made at that time as well. As far as the ballroom, there is another item that was previously budgeted but has now been adopted into this scope of work. And so that is replacing or adding a screen projector. So right now, they bring out cords and, they tape it up and set it all up. This will be a permanent fixture. We also, a part of this scope of work will be to replace the windows and doors, again, with Title 24 compliant windows and doors. And then there's minor asbestos work that will happen as well. And that will take place when we remove the surface-mounted electrical to place it inside the wall. We will have to cut open some of the drywall, and some of that drywall has been tested for asbestos, as well as some of the flooring mastic has been tested for asbestos, and all that will be addressed as a part of this project. And that really summarizes the scope of work. It's simply an update to the facility, interiors mostly. There will be exterior paint, but nothing more to the exterior than the paint. I believe that concludes the slide presentation.
Thank you, Mr. West. I just want to mention one thing. When I was working with this project, I didn't know how much work is in there. I just asked Mr. West, how many windows and door we are touching in this? 193 windows and doors. That blew my mind. You say, can we eliminate some of the windows and doors? The answer was no. But I'm telling you the size of the project, how many, when you see that and the way that everything worked out so far, I really would appreciate everything that the staff did to put this thing together and take it to this point. Although no final decisions made, I want to make sure that I appreciate all the hard work that went into it. Well, we'll see what happens from now on.
Okay. All right. Juanita?
A lot of the feedback that I've gotten has been the fear that we're going to close Clubhouse 1 like we did Clubhouse 3 for over a year, 2 years, while all of this is being done. As my understanding, it's going to be done in phases, so we are not going to close the whole facility. Is that correct?
That has not been concluded. There are some options on the table for how to phase or what it would look like as far as duration for a full shutdown. There are some savings on the table for a full shutdown. That will be discussed later in closed session, but it hasn't been decided exactly how the project will move forward.
Okay, that's the main fear that I'm hearing from residents.
We do have one member comment when you're ready.
Okay.
Dick Rader.
Good morning. I just have one question. There's two outbuildings there, which houses, I think, shuffleboard and archery. And if I recall correctly, one of those buildings had some severe structural issues, and I wondered, is that going to be addressed separately?
So if I may, I can address that. At the last committee meeting, the MNC committee meeting, staff was directed to retain a licensed engineer to evaluate the structure that was brought up during the assessment early on. I do have that report, and I plan to bring that and present it to the next MNC meeting. There is no immediate danger, safety risk at this time. There are recommendations for repairs, but again, that will be presented at the next MNC.
I just want to thank all the committees and staff, because there were several committees that worked on this. I know when I first joined the board, 2020, this has been on the table for a couple of years. And for, I think, Reza and his group, and then I think the Clubhouse One subcommittee, I'm not sure what they were called, but they got together and just made this thing work. So I don't, just hopefully the residents realize how much time, effort, work, and decisions were made by committees that came together to make this thing happen, because it's not that simple. It's been in the works for, what, 4 to 5 years, from what I understand. So thanks again.
Any other questions? So no other questions, and then that concludes the presentation? Reza, that concludes it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to thank you, Mr. West. Pretty good. And if there are more questions or anything, please let us know. But no decision has been, final decision has been made. Is a recommendation from MNC committee to the full GRF board. And when that decision is made, I think everyone's going to hear it and in detail of what that is. But at this time, we appreciate all the work that went into it, and I hope that we're going to have a nice clubhouse, better than Clubhouse 2, and in a timely fashion and in a very organized way, if it's approved. Thank you for all the input.
Okay, Jim?
Make just a question. I think, isn't it the vendor selection that we're approving? The renovation itself is...
We have, as I said, we have 3 beds, and it's a job of the board to look at those beds and look at the low bedders versus the others, and decide what they want to do.
So
they want to award it to low bedder, or they want to go to somebody
my
else.
question is, it's who does it, not necessarily that it get done.
GRF board. No. The presentation by staff.
It is the vendor that's being selected, not the go forward.
No. Closed meeting, closed meeting, and
yes,
go forward.
correct, everything.
Selection.
Scope of work and the
Yeah, it's the whole enchilada.
Right. Okay.
So thank you. So we'll move on to new business, which is item number 12. And the next item, A, is to entertain a motion to approve Golf Pro Shop sales promotion. So Joan, will you read the resolution?
Resolution 90-23-XX, Golf Pro Shop Sales Promotions. Whereas the Laguna Woods Village Golf Facility has a retail store which sells a variety of golf merchandise to support revenue generation cost recovery, included in the annual budget. And whereas vendor promotions provide revenue as part of the retail pro shop operation, and also provide a fun, interactive service for the resident golfers. And whereas these promotions are specific to sales of general merchandise or custom fitting days for the purchase of golf equipment, and only one vendor is invited to customize items sold. And whereas the order is placed using the Golden Rain Foundation account, which generates retail sales that nearly double annual revenue from these promotions. And whereas no resident information is provided directly to the vendor by staff, residents must voluntarily provide their personal information when registering for a club fitting or sales activity. And whereas residents have the option to opt out of marketing through 4UP, and whereas staff will work with media and communications to properly brand marketing promotions to eliminate confusion among residents. And whereas on October 12, 2023, the Community Activities Committee reviewed and recommended golf operations staff to promote revenue-generating merchandise sales promotions using the resident golf database. Now therefore be it resolved, November 7, 2023, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts golf operations staff to promote revenue-generating merchandise sales promotions using the resident golf database, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we approve this resolution. Elsie, oh, sorry. Darn it. Okay.
And is there a second?
Elsie, did you press the button?
Yes,
All right.
we have.
We got it.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Egon.
Egon.
Microphone.
Aren't we going to hear from, sorry, I got a mental block for a second about this resolution.
From Tom?
Yeah. Are we going to hear it?
From Allison.
She's going to
Allison
give
can
us a
speak to
report?
it if you would like.
Yeah, she came up. I assumed she was going to make a report.
Okay.
Right, and now's the time. Go ahead.
Okay, then.
Yes.
All right.
Good morning, Madam President and directors. I don't know that I have too much more to add from what was read in the resolution, but one thing I'd like to clarify, at the CAC meeting, one of the directors asked if we could change the opt-in. You can opt in for messages right now, and if you opt out of those messages, you will not receive closure updates and other messages that we may send out. We are going to work with 4UP to see if they can build that into our system so that we can separate it. So you can pick and choose if you want promotional information or, closure information and all of that. So if you have any other questions, this is a very popular attraction for our residents as well. It's kind of a fun way for them to go and get fitted for new equipment and clothing. So we think it's a benefit all the way around. It helps with the cost recovery generating over at the facility. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Are there any questions, Dave?
So the only question I had, looking at the staff report, it goes through the revenues that you're going to have. What are the expenses associated with this event?
There is no expense to us. These are vendors that want to come in and want to get their product out to the community. So really it is a win-win for us to bring a service to the residents and also generate revenue in our Golf Pro Shop.
Elsie.
I think it sounds terrific. I'm a little okay, the revenue generation part, and this is also ties in with what Egon was asking. Do they pay us, the vendors pay us a percentage or a fee or something? Where do we get the money? Where does the money?
So it's the sales from when we purchase
sales.
the equipment and the clothing, they buy it and we get the revenue from that. So we get discounted.
Well, they must get something. I mean,
It's basically them selling their product to us and we turn around and sell it back and we make that.
oh, so we sell it at a profit.
Resale, yeah.
Oh, bingo. I get profit. Thank you.
Any other questions? Juanita, okay.
I just wanted to clarify, because this again is something that I've heard from residents. It's not all residents that are going to get this. It's only those golfers who have signed up through 4UP.
Correct.
That would receive these messages. It's not going out to everybody who has an email. Is that correct?
That is correct. Everybody in the 4UP system for golf.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. If there are no other questions, we will start with the voting.
Okay, Gan, can I have your vote as well? Gan, can I have your vote, please? Thank you.
I'm going to see how long it takes to bring up my name. Takes almost.
So we'll work on your screen next time.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure I only had to press it once. That's what it is.
So the motion passed.
The motion passes. Thank you. Okay, the next item is to entertain a motion to approve recreation and special events department operating rules. And this will start the 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with the Civil Code 4360. So we do have a resolution on that, right?
Resolution 90-23-XX. Recreation and Special Events Department Operating Rules. Whereas the Golden Rain Foundation has established Recreation and Special Events Department operating rules for usage of GRF facilities. And whereas the Recreation and Special Events Department oversees the use of GRF facilities. And whereas the Community Activities Committee recommends the amendments to the Recreation and Special Events Department operating rules. And whereas the Community Activities Committee reviewed all 33 amenity operating rules in July, August, September, and October of 2023. And whereas on October 12th, 2023, the Community Activities Committee reviewed the final drafts of the operating rules and recommends the approval of the presented operating rules with suggested edits. Now therefore be resolved December 5th, 2023, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the Recreation and Special Events Operating Rules, and resolved further that Resolution 90-16-55, adopted December 6th, 2016, Garden Center Operating Rules and related documents, and Resolution 90-18-05, Recreation Policy and Operating Rules, adopted January 2nd, 2018, are hereby superseded and canceled to the extent that they differ. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we approve this resolution for discussion purposes only and postpone the final vote for 28 days per Civil Code 4360.
Please tap on the screen if you don't mind.
Okay, do we have a second?
Press the button, yeah.
It's the green button. Great. All right, is there any discussion? Great. So super. There were a lot of changes, and I really have to thank Allison and Jackie, for putting all of this together. So there was a lot of changes, and the CAC committee went over those changes and adopted some new changes on it. And so we're going to approve the operating rules as amended by the CAC committee. And they're all in this packet, if anybody is interested in looking at those rules. So if there's, did you want to make a comment? No? Okay.
Just vote.
All right.
Enough about this.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so it's time to vote, and all those who approve or commence with the voting.
Martin, Gann, can I have your vote, please? Thank you.
I'm going to see how long it takes my name to come up. I did press it. Okay, there we are.
And Yvonne, your vote.
Yeah, Martin's in Indonesia, and his goes right up there.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And Bunny's takes a while.
Yeah.
The electron sensor for Indonesia.
Okay, I don't see.
I'll do it for you. Is that a yes or no?
Pardon?
Is yours a yes or no?
Okay.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you so much. All right, the next item is to entertain a motion to approve GRF donation of golf driving range. So Joan, will you read the resolution?
Yes. Resolution 90-23-XX, golf driving range nets donation. Whereas the Laguna Woods Village driving range has been closed for renovation since March 16th, 2023. And during the closure, golf operations provided 5 temporary nets for residents to take practice swings. And whereas the temporary nets are made for limited use, and they're showing signs of wear and tear, and will not endure the heavy use from daily golf operations. And whereas storage of the nets is not feasible due to the expensive storage space necessary, and further deterioration of the structure and nets is expected. And whereas replacement nets would be required should the need arise due to an extended closure of the driving range. And whereas golf operations staff contacted 2 local high schools in need of nets for their golf team practices, and these teams only practice part of the year, which allows a longer term of use of the donated nets. And whereas on October 12, 2023, the Community Activities Committee reviewed and recommended to donate the golf driving range nets to a local high school. So now therefore be it resolved November 7th, 2023, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby adopts the donation of the golf driving range nets to a local high school, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution.
Is there any discussion? Okay, Egon and then Elsie.
So the only question I have is, why is the high school not named? Has it not been decided?
It's a good question. The offer was made to 2 local high schools, and one did accept. It's Laguna Hills High School.
It's which?
Laguna Hills High School.
Okay.
Up the road.
Elsie? No question? Any other questions? Okay, so let's commence voting.
And Gann, can I have your vote, please? Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
Okay, come on, come on.
It looks like we're having issues with Yvonne
And
monitor as
Bunny,
well.
apparently.
So for both you guys, is it
Yes, up. Thumbs up. Okay, so the motion passes.
We don't have everything yet.
Pardon?
We don't have everyone yet.
Who are we missing?
Director Dotson stepped out, so she'll be back for a closed session.
Okay,
Okay, so two.
all right, so the motion passes. Thank you. So the next item is to entertain the motion to approve the additional occupancy fee. And this is, oh, the fans. Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking at donations. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's entertain a motion to approve donation of fans for the equestrian center. So would you read the resolution, please?
Resolution 90-23-XX, donation of fans for equestrian center. This agreement entered into this 7th day of November 2023 is by and between the Golden Rain Foundation, GRF, a California nonprofit mutual benefit corporation, and Laguna Woods Saddle Club donor, who offered to donate 18 new air outdoor high-velocity fans to the equestrian center. Whereas GRF and donor recognize the importance of community facilities and amenities, and whereas GRF and donor acknowledge the benefit of donations when they have a purpose consistent with GRF goals and are in the best interest of Laguna Woods Village. And whereas the donor has offered to donate 18 new air outdoor high-velocity fans to the equestrian center. And whereas the Recreation and Special Events Department Director or Financial Services Director reviewed and affirms the proposed donation meets the proposed donation meets the criteria for acceptance contained in the GRF donation policy. That is, it meets a true need of the facility, does not interfere with the intended current or future use of the facility, and it does not require the relocation of other equipment or infrastructure to accommodate the donation. Now therefore be it resolved November 7th, 2023, that GRF and donor, in accordance with the described conditions and obligations herein set forth, agree as follows. Section 1, the donation known as donation of 18 new air outdoor high-velocity fans to the Equestrian Center, described below, is donated in its entirety to GRF, hereafter owned by GRF and managed on behalf of the residents of Laguna Woods Village by Village Management Services, Inc., VMS. Section 2, donation description, 18 new air outdoor high-velocity fans, location, Equestrian Center. Section 3, amount of donation, item cost, $3,311.87, installation cost, 0, maintenance cost, 0 annually. Total estimated donation is $3,311.87. Section 4, GRF reserves the right to move or remove and or retire the donation following cessation of the 5-year period. The term shall commence upon the date entered into and indicated above. Section 5, GRF will not replace the donation or community space improvement if it is stolen, vandalized, worn out, irreparably damaged, destroyed, or expired. Section 6, installation and maintenance. GRF shall be responsible for the installation and maintenance of the item, including any reasonable repairs. In Section 7, the term of this agreement is a minimum of 5 years or beyond, if applicable. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized to carry out this resolution as written. I move that we accept this resolution. Who seconds? Yvonne, okay.
Is there any discussion? Elsie?
granted, my reading isn't always quite as accurate as it could be, but I thought it just said that GRF is responsible for the installation, and yet I see a proposal here, and it says to supply and install. So is the club going to pay for the installation? We're going to pay for the installation. And so this $6,700 estimate for installation is, I just wasn't here last month. I'm really sorry, I'm not that familiar with it. So does that mean it's going to cost approximately 60? Oh, okay. But then they'll be ours.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That was the only clarification I needed. Thank you.
All right. Egon?
Yeah, the only question, where are the fans being installed? I mean, physically, where are they being put?
Well, Allison should
Egon
answer that.
or
We're
Allison?
gone.
Okay.
They'll be in various stalls throughout the facility. So they'll provide cooling effects for the horses in the
So
circulation.
Overhead,
Exactly.
isn't it? Is it overhead?
no, it's in the stalls, isn't it?
Yeah, they're up on, I believe they're up on the.
They're above.
Above
They're above.
the
They're
horses.
overhead.
For each stall.
Not every stall, but it'll help create circulation throughout
But
the
it's
stall
open
areas.
at the top, so
Yes.
it'll, oh, okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Are we ready to vote? I guess we are. Okay, shall we commence voting?
And Martin, can I have your vote, please? Thank you. And President Carpenter and Director Horton, can I have your votes, please? Just thumbs up or
Yes.
thumbs down. Okay, thank
Thumbs up.
What's working? Oh, there it is.
See, it comes up about 5 minutes, 3 minutes later after I push it.
Motion passes 10-0.
So who are we missing there?
Same person, Debbie Dotson.
Oh, okay. So the motion passes. The next item would be to entertain a motion to approve the additional occupancy fee and November initial notification, 28-day notification for member review and comments to comply with Simple Code 5360. So just one comment about the resolution. It's basically written now so that, okay, do you want to talk about it? Okay, it's basically written so that it's 50% of the GRF fee, and so each year it would automatically increase as the GRF fee increases. So
Or decrease.
or decreases. Yes. Okay. So I need to have a motion.
You need to read the resolution, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Read the resolution.
Resolution 90-23-XX, GRF additional occupancy fee. Whereas the GRF assessment for net operating costs, reserve and restricted reserve contributions is divided equally by the number of units in the community, regardless of how many individuals occupy a unit. And whereas an additional occupant fee is charged for each individual in excess of 2 occupants residing in a unit to account for additional use of community services and facilities. And whereas caregivers, live-in and other, that are registered with the state of California are excluded from the GRF additional occupancy fee. And whereas the additional occupant fee is applied to the owner's account beginning on the first day of the calendar month immediately following the additional occupant's effective date. And whereas the board periodically reviews fees as part of the business planning process to determine adequacy of revenues and shared costs. And now therefore be it resolved December 5th, 2023, that the board of directors of this corporation hereby sets the additional occupant fee at 50% of the GRF total basis assessment per man or per month, rounded to the nearest dollar. for each additional occupant over two to offset costs incurred by the extra occupants to be effective January 1st, 2024. Resolved further that such fees shall be reflected on the fee schedule. Resolved further that Resolution 90-19-57, adopted December 3rd, 2019, is hereby superseded and canceled on the effective date of January 1st, 2024. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution for review purposes and postpone the final vote for 28 days per Civil Code 4360.
Did we do a second on it? Okay. Is there any discussion? Do you want to present anything? Okay. Why don't you come up? Yeah.
Why not?
Forgive me, I was just going to say that you captured everything, so thank you very much.
Okay, all right. Let's vote.
And Martin and Gann, can I have your vote, please? Thank you.
Okay, so the motion passes. So the next item is to entertain a motion to approve the proposed defunding expenditures. So do we have a resolution?
Resolution 90-23-XX, proposed defunding at year end. Whereas Resolution 90-23-49 adopted and approved the Capital Reserves Expenditures Plan of this corporation for the year 2024. And whereas department heads reviewed the reserve expenditures report and identified items eligible to be closed or funding reduced. And whereas the Golden Rain Foundation recognizes the need to remove one reserve expenditure from the equipment fund, remove one from facilities fund, and reduce one from the equipment fund by year end on December 31st, 2023, as follows. Item number and fund, JP 19-034-0000 EQF, Service Center Generator, reduction 120,000. JP 23-007-0000 EQF, Clubhouse 1 Mounted Projector, 20,000. JP 220340000 FF, Security Building HVAC System, 65,000. Whereas the 2023 annual capital items will be updated at year end and replaced with 2024 capital items. Now therefore be it resolved November 7th, 2023, that the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves this resolution in accordance with the described reasoning. Resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move that we approve this resolution.
Is there any discussion? Juanita?
I have a question on the second item, the Clubhouse One mounted projector. It seems to me that's in the scope of work for that we just heard about. So shouldn't it stay in so that we have funds for it?
So the projector is going to be included in the new scope of work. So this is part of an old capital plan, so we're recommending that removal from the old capital plan, noting that it's already included in the future one.
But there still will be the projector.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No further questions, so let's commence our voting.
Gann and Martin, your vote, please. Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. So at this time, the board will take a 5-minute break. And I think we all need it. So we'll be back. Committee reports. And so Jim Hopkins, you're on.
Okay. Let me just start right off and say what the first chart shows that all GRF revenues, including the restricted for reserves, those restricted for reserves, such as the transfer facilities fee and the GRF portion of the HOA fees. The reserve investment income, which is also restricted to reserves, is included in revenue. Reserve spending is not included in this statement. So through the reporting period of April 30th, 2023, GRF had a net revenue of $3,385,000 with a total revenue.
September 30th. You said April.
Did I say April?
I think we're a little farther along.
Did I say? Wow. Wow. Okay, thank you. And with a total revenue of $37,721,000 and a total expense of $34,336,000. GRF was better than budget by $1,687,000, with total expense coming in lower than budget by $1,847,000, and that's primarily due to open positions throughout the organization. This was partially offset by total revenues coming in worse than budget, about $160,000 worse than budget. And that's primarily due to lower trust facilities revenue as a result of fewer sales in the community. Slide 2. The next chart displays the operating fund, which excludes the non-operating revenues, expenses, and depreciation. This report shows a favorable variance of $1,390,000 through the reporting period, with expense better than budget by $1,629,000. The operating fund displays more, is closer to our per man or per month or HOA fees, and so when we see the operating fund, we can kind of predict what our HOA fees, its impact on the HOA fees. Slide 3, please. Okay. This slide reflects the current market value of the GRF reserves investment portfolio, and we compare that to the 2019 market value at the time of inception. The current market value of the GRF portfolio is $19,014,000 as of September 30th, 2023, and that's compared to a value at December 2019 of $19,031,000. Year-to-date market value increased by $805,000, or 4.4%, and decreased and is lower than the threshold amount, that is the 2019 amount, by only $17,000. And in September itself, the market value increased by $85,000. Slide 4. Now, of the $19,014,000 portfolio value mentioned in slide 3, $18,812,000 is held in our reserve portfolio. In addition to the discretionary investments, the reserve fund assets also include non-discretionary investments of $13,458,000. The net reserve balance is $32,518,000. Next slide. Now, back to the operating fund, which has a more significant impact on the HOA assessments. This slide shows that our most significant operating variances by category, with the green bars representing favorable variances and the orange bars representing unfavorable variances. Overall, we had favorable variances in employee compensation and the related expenses of $1,333,000. And that's primarily due to the various vacancies in general services for janitorial positions, bus drivers, and pavers. In addition, Security Services has open positions for security patrol officers, gate ambassadors, and various other open positions throughout the organization. And as usual, recruitment is a year-round continuous project. Materials and supplies are favorable by $269,000, and that's primarily due to the overstatement of 2022 expenditures for inventory items at the warehouse, which they accrued for. The favorable variances in inventory are slightly offset by the unbudgeted purchase of pool supplies. Other operating expenses of $217,000 favorable are due to savings in training and education and recruiting fees. In many cases, these fees were budgeted early in the year, and actually the actual expenses occur late in the year. So it's a budget timing issue as well. And in the unfavorable category, utilities and telephone are about $250,000 unfavorable due to rising electricity rates and the high natural gas costs amongst all departments. And outside services are $247,000 unfavorable, primarily due to credit card fees in the Golfing and Performing Arts Center. These fees were anticipated to be passed on to customers at the time the budget was created. However, these transactions are not processed via ActiveNet, which is the only platform that passes on credit card fees to the customer. In addition, the aquatics budget was based on the reduction of one lifeguard and the lap pool, which was ultimately not approved. Slide 6. This slide shows our sources of revenue other than assessments, such as fees and rentals. To date, we have received just over $7,519,000 of non-assessment operating revenue. By category, we can see that our largest revenue is broadband services, okay, and followed by golf revenue, clubhouse rentals, and event fees, and merchandise sales. Other revenue includes class fees, additional occupancy fees, RV storage fees, and equestrian fees. These revenues offset costs and help keep our assessments down. Next chart. This chart shows, as usual, that our largest operating expense is compensation, followed by cable and programming expense. Of the $30.7 million, excluding depreciation, these two categories account for 71% of the total operating expense. Insurance, professional, and legal fees, of course, and utilities and outside services make up the remaining 30%. If you consider that the cable and programming fees are offset by broadband revenue, compensation accounts for 67% of the net expense, while insurance, utilities, and outside services account for 33%. Slide 8. When you look at column 1, our reserve funds have a combined ending balance of $40 million, or 39.981. Okay, and our restricted balance is $3.9 million. The second column shows that the work in process is $7.5 million for reserves and $43,000 for restricted funds. The third column represents the resulting adjusted fund balance of $32.5 million for the reserve and $3.9 million for the restricted. Next column. The next chart shows the resale history from 2021 to 2023. 2023 community-wide sales show a total of 574 homes or manors, and it's 21% below 2022 2022 and 25% below 2024 as of September 30th, 2023. As stated before, this has had a negative impact on the reserve income this year. However, our reserve balance is very strong, and we are still moving forward. Slide 10, please. Now, this slide shows a listing of where our reserve money is committed. Of the $19.7 million appropriated by the board for various projects and equipment purchases, the remaining encumbrances on our reserve funds is $11.2 million. And that's primarily for the purchase and replacement of equipment throughout the facilities. Restricted funds had a total appropriations of $98,000 with no remaining encumbrances. Next slide. Over the past 5 years, GRF has averaged $27 million in reserve funds and $2.3 million in contingency funds. As you can see, the reserve fund has been growing, but that is due to the cycles of asset replacement requirements. GRF, due to the nature of its assets, plans ahead to consider large asset replacement requirements. That is the purpose of the reserve. It is designed to avoid special assessments and to refurbish or replace our assets. And I have one more chart here that I've lost track of. Okay. And last but not least, this chart, can you make that a little larger for us with the older eyes to take a look at? Whoops. I like the way he thinks. Let's just keep it there, right there. There you go. Okay, and you can focus right there. Thank you, Paul. Because at the end of the day, I just wanted to show, and this will be next to the last time I'll actually show this chart, because this chart reflects the journey we've actually been on since early 2021, which is the recovery of our reserve fund or portfolio. As you may recall, back in October, and I'll go down to the chart below there, as of October, we hit the lowest point in our portfolio. All right. Since then, the bond funds, which we were invested in at that time, started to increase on their own. So it's in accounting terms, it's called unrealized income. In that case, it's only realized when you sell it. And so since it had improved just on its own because of the nature of the market, it had improved on its own from October through March, we took advantage of that, and we actually started to strategically sell the bond fund portfolio in favor of bond funds. As a result, we took advantage of the appreciation of the funds as well as the increase in the treasury funds themselves. The result is that so far this year, not annualized, but we've increased by 4.4%. If you were to annualize that, it would be something close to 5.8%. All right. Since October, our increase, if we project to year end, 19,262,000, which is what we're projecting the year end to end up as, that will be a 7.1% annualized increase since the October. So obviously we have, by virtue of taking advantage of the market appreciation of bond funds, we have outpaced the bond market itself, or the treasury market itself. So I'd say, and I think Sageview had worked with us. In fact, had suggested the strategy and worked with us very closely in order to manage that strategy to the point where they were making trades frequently and didn't have to wait for our approval. We gave them approval to go forward with as they see fit. So with that, I will end my presentation and take any questions, comments.
I just have 3 comments. First of all, I want to remind all of our residents who are hopefully watching this that we are a non-for-profit service organization. Therefore, the fact that the majority of our expenses are for compensation for our employees only makes sense. We're not trying to make money, we are trying to serve the residents. Therefore, the money that we collect goes to serving the residents, and that means that paying our employees, among other things. Also, on slide 9, I think we have to remember, even though our sales are down, if you will, from the last couple of years, our inventory is so low. I mean, we're under 100 units in this whole community that are for sale. And that's because people come and say, don't you want to sell your unit? And I said, well, where would I move? It's much too expensive for me to move. So I'm not going to sell my unit at this time. So I just think they need to put in perspective the fact that it's not that we can't sell our units, it's that we have so few to sell that makes our inventory, our resale histories down. Lastly, I really would like to give kudos, number 1, to Jim, but also to Sageview, because this has been a tremendously difficult year. And I think these figures show that we have been on top of it the whole time. And I really appreciate the time and effort that you, the finance department, and Sageview have put in.
Thank you, Anita. Just just wanted to add to your comment on the inventory. Part of the inventory being down is where would you go in the interest rates being what they are today. So the whole home sale market is basically down, and of course inventory is part of that. We do have people that actually move out and move up to other areas for whatever the reasons are, but coming in here is a challenge because of the interest rates too, even though 65% pay cash. It's somebody has to buy your home in order to come here. So that's part of it.
Also, I don't want to bring up too many statistics, but we do live in a senior community, and the demographic is such that we do lose people all the time. Our statistics of deaths in the village of natural causes, I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's a fact of life that people are going to go, and so that takes some of the ones that are on the market because their families don't want to move in.
Okay, any other comments? All right, so the next item is a report of the CAC committee. Director Horton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And kudos to Jim for his report. In the interest of time, let me say the Recreation Department had a banner month. Tom Jones tribute, the hoedown at the Equestrian Center with the mechanical bull ride. Additional hours over at Clubhouse 5 for the pool. The Halloween golf cart parade, just to name a few. But the big announcement to all of our golfers is that the village practice range is now open. And that concludes my shortened report. And our next meeting is November 9th here in the boardroom at 1:30. Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the report of the Landscape Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. The Landscape Committee met on August 22nd, and our next meeting is tomorrow, November 8th at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Excuse me?
There's no if we're done, we have to be there. I know it's short because we have our annual meeting, et cetera, before that, but the meeting was already scheduled for 1:30, and so it will go on. Just one of the things that we will be doing tomorrow at the Landscape Committee is to honor retirees, particularly Bob Murdette, who is our manager of trees, and after a very long, successful career here in the village, he is going to be retiring the first of the year. Since we only meet quarterly, this is our time to say thank you to our employees that have done that there. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one, I'm sorry, I lost my track. Here we are. And the next one is the report of maintenance and construction. Reza.
Thank you, Madam President. We had two meetings, actually. One was a regular meeting on October 11, and there was another closed meeting on October 24th. I started with October 24th. That was a closed meeting to discuss the bids for the Clubhouse 1, and there you saw the presentation this morning about the scope of that work. There's going to be more discussion of that in the closed session. On October 11, that was a regular meeting. Some of the items were talked about. There was some question from the member of the committee about the charging rates and cost of electricity, etc., which Mr. Mejia answered those. What I have to say about that is, about a year and a half ago, there was a lot of push to install charging station around Clubhouse 5, about like 5 or more of charging station, and that was voted down. Today, if you go to Moulton Parkway and Santa Rosa, is this Santa Maria Avenue, right behind Polly's, Tesla installed 15 fast charging station. I went there this morning when I was on my way here. So that's about less than maybe mile, a little bit over a mile from the location that we want to install at our cost, 5 stations. Now we have 14 fast charging stations right next to our community, which going to serve gate 11, 10, 9, 8, all of those gates have very proximity to that location. So just beware that those things are available now for the fast chargers. And I asked the question if Tesla allows other EV vehicle to use their charging station. It looked like, the guy wasn't sure, but it says it looked like that Tesla has agreed to let other EV vehicles to use their charging station. In the past, Tesla didn't allow anybody else to use their charging station. I'm not sure about that. You can, go online. Yes, sir.
I believe they have an agreement with Ford and GM for next year. They'll allow them to use their charging stations for next year, I believe.
Great, thank you. Yeah, the person I talked wasn't sure, so thank you for the input. Anyway, I want to make sure that we know about that one. The other things that we discussed was the clubhouse maintenance inspection report. There was some comments about how we're going to improve that. The installation of shepherd crooks for the GRF portion, which is completed now, so we don't have any more of that. The GRF is pretty much done with that. We had a presentation about the repair shop, electrical work for the landscaping group, welding shop, and we talked about the golf driving range, which the opening was last Friday. And finally now we're going to make a little money out of that. And the grass are growing. Although this is winter time, it's going to be a little bit brown, but wait for the summer. I hope it turned green. Other than that, I will turn yellow myself. So, thank you. Thank you. And our next meeting in December 13 at 9:30 in the boardroom. Thank you.
Next item, the clubhouse renovation ad hoc committee, Director Garfa.
Yeah, there have not been any recent meetings. There's going to be a meeting. The date is to be announced, and we're going to discuss beginning with the restrooms at the Clubhouse 3. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Director Hopkins on space planning ad hoc committee.
Yeah, we have a meeting coming up. We formalized the Space Planning Committee, making it an open committee. Before we had a closed session. It was ad hoc, but the issue is so important to the future of and planning of space that we decided to open it up and basically welcome the community to be able to comment on the decisions and conclusions that we reach. I am not sure when that meeting is going to take place. I believe it's November 15th, I believe. But it is, or maybe it's the 22nd. I think it's the 22nd. It's the 22nd. But at any rate, that meeting has been scheduled. And if you consult your meeting schedules, you'll see that. I didn't get a chance to do it myself. But we hope that to get a lot of participation because it's a lot of things going on regarding space. And remember, this started off by the fact that we could no longer utilize Building E. So a lot of people think of it as Building E, but it's actually Spatialization / Building E. So welcome everybody. Comments all.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the report of communications committee, Director Miller. And then just go on to the website committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Media and Communications met last September 18th, 2023, and at that time we approved adding 2 new stations to the Village Television's lineup, NewsNet and Sports News Highlights. And it was to start November 1st, so I'm hoping that you have seen those stations, and if you haven't, please look for them. We did not meet in October, and our next meeting for this committee will be November 20th this month. This month, November 20th at 1:30 in the boardroom and as a virtual meeting. The website ad hoc committee met in May of 2023, and our next meeting will be arranged. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. All right, the next would be a report of the broadband ad hoc committee. Now, I put myself down there, but Martin, would you like to report on that? I didn't know if you were going to be tuning in today. I can say something if you would like. Okay, I'll say something if you would like. Anyway, but the broadband ad hoc committee is a closed committee. All of you know that. But we did receive all the non-disclosures, and we will be getting ready to send out the RFP for the providers very soon. And once we get an update on that, we'll be able to determine when the next meeting is. So do you want to add anything to that, Martin?
I would like to just add also too about the splendid work that Mr. Paulo Keatson has done in putting together some documentation that we needed to just do the more fact finding that we need to do in order to gain a better understanding of our direction. And I think that we made some good progress. Just that others in the past thought we couldn't do. And I'm very appreciative of the committee that we got that and how it's going forth. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So the next report is mobile and vehicles. So Director Addington?
I'm sorry, I was still engrossed in looking at Martin's from so far away. You know, there's a little lag there. Anyway, good to see you, Martin. Love to the family. The committee met on November the 6th. That was Monday, and the next meeting we've gone to quarter. Oh, and we discussed the specifications for purchases of vehicles for 2024.
Did you approve them?
Yes and no. The next meeting will be February the 7th at 2024. Wow, can you believe that? 2024 is definitely on us at 1:30 in the boardroom. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so the next one is Security and Community Access Committee. Director Skillman?
Thank you. The Security and Community Access Committee met on October 25th, and we went over a number of different things that we will be still working on. We looked at what we needed to work on for this next year. We did get a report from Disaster Preparedness, which is also on the committee for later on the shakeout that we had on October 19th, and Chief Nunes gave us a report on how that worked out. We went over the security statistics, and the security statistics have been upgraded, so they are now by face and by gate. So when you read them, it's much clearer as to where all of this statistics through. And these are just fascinating, and they go by all of the number of incidents, all of the things that happened in the village, where they were, that kind of thing. And anybody who's interested should either come to our meeting or access that online. Chief Nunes also went over some noteworthy incidents of things that happened within the village. Now, in our items of discussion, and these will be carried over to our meeting that's coming up on December 27th, we talked about the rules and regulations for all registered vehicles. These are very old. They need to be updated. We're looking at them. We asked the members that we had from Third and from United to look at their own, because we'd like to be able to compile that into one rules and regulations for the village rather than having separate ones that security has to be aware of. We discussed a lot of the problems that we're having, particularly with registering the vehicles and people who do not register the vehicles. It's their choice if they get an RFID, but if they don't get an RFID, they still need to register their vehicles, but a lot of people don't realize that. And there is a concern with electric bicycles. So we're looking, that are not covered in any of our, because it's a new technology. So we are looking at that. The other discussion point that we will also be carrying over to our next meeting is gate entry for non-residents who are attending village events. And we looked at many different areas, whether it was a club event, a recreation event, a church event, a private event, like a sale, the contingency sale. And we also looked at the new proposed rules for open houses for real estate. That has not come to our board. It's on a 2-month trial period, but we will be looking at it in security community access and bringing a resolution to the board to finalize that. And so, as I said, our next meeting is December 27th, 1:30 here in the boardroom.
Did you explain what the real estate?
No, but I'd be happy to. And this is something that has come out of community services and our real estate forums. Right now, when our real estate agents have an open house, they cannot leave it untenanted. They have to lock it up, go to the gate and pick up whoever is coming in to see it, then go back and unlock it and show the house there. And so it takes a lot of their time, or they have to have extra resources, another person that's there, et cetera. So what's going on right now is that they do not have to pick them up at the gate. Gate ambassadors get a list every Friday of all of the open houses. And if you are coming to an open house, you stop at the gate and you tell them the address and the agent that you're working for. You fill out a little form. That way we know who's in the village, what their license plates are, whatever. And then they can go in and go to the open house. Now, some of the concerns that were brought up is if you go to one open house and you don't like it, can you just drive around the village and look for open house signs? And once people get in the village, there's no way that they can be monitored to see where else they might go. So there are things that are looking at it. It is on a trial period, and we will have a resolution for the board the first of the year.
Thank you. Okay, so the next one is traffic hearings.
Okay, I sat in for traffic hearings, and I have to say it was difficult because we did not have representation. Traffic hearings are 5 people or 4 people, one from each of the associations. And we only had 3 people show up. So it makes it difficult. But we did do it. We had 7 people. Well, it was really 6 people. 5 people, one did not, the 6th person didn't show up, and one of them had 2 offenses, 2 violations for the same person. But I can't go into any more because it's confidential.
But you can say the numbers. Were there most of them found guilty, or?
Yes, they were.
And paid the fine.
Right. Well, the fine was put in abeyance for a couple of them for extenuating circumstances.
What groups aren't showing up?
Not showing up, they automatically get fined.
No, I mean, you say, I thought the judges weren't showing up.
Oh, yeah, we did not have anybody from United that showed up.
And that's very typical.
Yeah, so.
Frankly.
Start taking attendance and publishing it.
Well, because of the changeover in officers and committees, I have addressed it with the new president of United and have been assured that's not going to happen in the future. We'll see.
Okay, so the next item is the compliance ad hoc, and as you know that we've completed our task, and so we're dissolving the committee. The last action that we took was the additional occupancy fee. There was a lot of discussion as to, with the new law and the addition that we can, the requirements for renting or the ability to be able to rent our rooms, how we were going to treat that. But my thinking is that has to start with the mutuals, because they're the ones that have to add the additional occupancy fee for the mutuals before GRF can do anything different. So if they decide to raise their occupancy fee, then for additional members other than the provision that we already have, then we can get together and work out the issue. But there really is no more action that we need to take, and so that committee is dissolved. Okay, so executive member hearings, Director Skillman, are you going to report on that?
Director Karimi was in charge.
Okay, so Karimi, raise it.
Yes, we had the meeting, and since it was closed meeting, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. We had the meeting, is what you're saying. And we will have another meeting next month. Okay, so report on the disaster preparedness task force, Director Skillman.
We had the great shakeout, California shakeout, on October 19th at 10:19 a.m. Security Department did their windshield survey where they have ride-arounds to look at the whole community, and they did their whole route, and that's when, if there is an incident, an earthquake, they would be able to tell if there was any damage, et cetera. We also had a radio drill with our members at the same time. So there were no, of course, infrastructure or fallen trees, et cetera, since it was just a drill. But they did go through the whole procedure so that we know that we are ready when and if it does happen. And the next meeting will be November 28th at 9:30 here in the boardroom.
Thank you. Information Technology Advisory Committee.
Okay. Of course, this is a closed meeting, and we meet every month, last Friday in the month. The project is going quite well. We expect to be finished and go live on phase 1 at the beginning of February. That would include the accounting, budget, purchasing, and all of those related activities. This is probably one of the most important hidden projects that because I look at it as if it's kind of like your veins, your nerves, and your blood vessels. You don't see them, but you know when they're not operating right. We're doing very, very well, but this is a complete rewrite of our administrative process and systems. And so the next meeting is the last Friday in October.
Okay. So the Purchasing Ad Hoc Committee, I expect to dissolve that pretty soon too, but we have one more task. We had our last meeting, we had the approval of United, and GRF approved the updated purchasing policy. There was not a quorum with Third, and so we asked them if they would put that on their agenda for their third meeting to basically vote for the policy. But as it stands, we still have till January 1st before this becomes effective, and we're hoping that Third will go ahead and approve it so that we're all on the same page. So thank you. And future agenda items, I just want to say to you that tomorrow's meeting is very important, okay? Very important. We need to, we'll be voting for new officers, and the people that are going to be voting on those new officers are the new directors and the remaining directors. And I just think that it's a very important meeting, and then by noon, we'll have our luncheon. So I just want to let you know that it is an important, if you care about who the officers are going to be, I think you should all be there. So thank you. So let's adjourn and recess and go to our closed meeting. Thank you. Hello. Okay, do we want, I was reading this agenda and it did not say director comment, so I apologize. So, do we have any director comments? Okay.
Oh, I would like to take this opportunity to thank both Debbie and Elsie for all of the service that they have given to this board and this community. It has been tremendous, a lot behind the scenes, as well as what people have seen and on TV at our meetings. So we're going to miss them, and we thank you very much for all that you have done. Now, I'm not going to thank the other two. I will just, if I may say, hope that they will continue. So we'll see tomorrow morning if we have to say goodbye to two more. Okay.
And I second what
Okay.
my colleague says. However, I do have something I'd like to say. And I'd like to remind everybody that here in Laguna Woods, we are a melting pot. And this place, this village is a place of peace in our declining years. Respectfully, I ask, please keep your politics out of our clubhouses, gyms, libraries, and the PAC. Thank you.
Elsie?
Well, I certainly agree with what Yvonne says. And aside from that, it's been really a pleasure to work with you guys these last couple of years, and also staff. I mean, I hope I thank staff enough at every opportunity for them to know how much I appreciate them. But I also appreciate every single one of you just as much. But you get paid more than staff, and so I figure that's your compensation. Thank you I'm just joking. Thank you very much.
Okay. Jim?
No comment.
Well, I want to, it was a pleasure working with all of you. I don't know what happened tomorrow. If it's, I'm on the board, I serve the community for free again. If not, I hope somebody else will take the helm and do a better job than I do. And for that, thank you.
So I want to wish Reza and Joan good luck for tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. And personally, I'm a little nervous about it all. We don't know who's going to be on our board. And, okay. And I can see that Martin is waving his hand, so I'll call on him next. But I want to thank everybody, and I really, truly appreciate everybody's support on this building, on this committee. I'm a little nervous. I predict my last time that I will be leading as a president on this board. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this for 4 years. And I hope that I've been able to have an impact. My heart has been in it. I feel it's everything that this GRF board has been doing is very important, and it's very important to the community. So thank you, everybody, for your support. Okay, so next, Reza. All right. I mean, not Reza. You can tell I'm nervous.
I got to add something.
Okay.
I'm really sorry, and I should have mentioned this before. I refuse to get choked up. I forgot this was your last time as president, and you have really accomplished a lot. Juanita and I were talking about it the other day, and just listing it off, and like the improvements and the cross organizational, the unity you've achieved in most cases, and in other cases you still left it better. You've done some really big stuff, and obviously I'm not kissing up because I'm out of here. So I'm just sincerely from the heart saying, things go so fast, you don't have time sometimes to realize how much you've really accomplished. So thank you, Bunny, for leading us these last 4 years.
So thank you very much. Okay. Martin, did you want to speak?
Can I just make?
Okay.
And I'm sorry. I'm thinking that tomorrow we have this opportunity, and I realize that this is the last GRF meeting that you'll be
leading, right?
Leading, and I want to just ditto everything that you said. Just thinking back, 4 years of leadership is significant especially for this type of organization. And I just want to know, I appreciate all of the debates we've had.
We have a few.
But Bunny and I actually agree on so much, and then at the same time, when we have a disagreement, we end up agreeing because she usually points out what mistakes I've made. No, but I do appreciate her, and I think we all, the community, should appreciate her. Her leadership. It's been sustainable leadership, sustained, consistent leadership. And leadership, I had was defined one time by somebody as willing followers. You can have all kinds of styles, but if you got willing followers, that's leadership. Thank you, Bunny.
So thank you. You're gonna make me cry. Gan, you have your hand up?
Yeah. Well, I very much appreciate the services that I have received and the residents have received from particularly yourself. I hope you stay on. And I have a question to you, Bunny. Are you going to be supervising the meeting tomorrow, or you will not be there tomorrow?
No, I'll be leading the meeting tomorrow, and I'll be leading the elections. And then after the elections, I turn the gavel over to the new president.
Okay, yeah, that is what I thought. Anyway, I particularly appreciate what Riza has been doing. I hope he is re-elected and keep on doing things the way he has handled before. I very much appreciate Elsie. It has been she has been a very good company. She has been a very good director and very likable person. And also, I don't know how to replace Joan, what the job that she is doing. I hope she is elected. But no matter what, whoever is elected, I believe they will try to do at least the best job that they can do for the community. And I am there very much to help them as much as I can. With that, I thank you all. That's my comment.
Thank you. Martin?
Excuse me. Debbie asked me to read a statement for her, and I accidentally deleted it. That was great. She just wanted to state how grateful she was to be able to serve, and how that she learned so much and made so many good friends, and just was it said stuff like that I had a power disruption here, and I had to get off the computer or the meeting and back on, and that's how it got deleted. But anyways, I am so appreciative to her for just how well she's done in helping me get ramped up in what is going on. And to you, Bunny, I only wish you the very best in going forth. You've been such a terrific leader, and I know this is the board of the group that I'll remember always, because it's like the initial group, and so it's kind of parting is such sweet sorrow in that sense.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can hardly hear you, but I appreciate it. And Joan's next, yes.
Well, whatever happens tomorrow happens. And it's been a wonderful experience for me to be with this board. And Bunny, your leadership has been fantastic. We wouldn't have worked together so well had it not been for you. And I appreciate all the hard work that everybody here in the board has put in. I don't think there's anybody that's been hanging back. Everybody's just in there slugging away. And whether we agree or disagree, we find a way. And I think it's wonderful. We are a real board, you know, in the best sense. So thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just hold my comments and hug and kisses for tomorrow, so that we will have something to say tomorrow for the hug and kisses and comments. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, we can recess for the closed meeting. So thank you.
Bunny, what time we are going to start? I have to go out to eat.
Half hour.
Half an hour? Okay.
Yeah, 12, so it's 12:40? Yeah, so a half hour, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
1:10, yes.
Okay.
And am I hungry?
That's good. That's good. I'll miss the lunch.
And who knows what time that is for you, Mark?
So I'll give you